I think, is going to volunteer to be our finance commissioner. She has been in and had the duties explained, and she still showed up to the meeting. So that's a good sign. Welcome, Leanne.
Thank you.
And also tonight we have Courtney Williams, who was asked to attend and become a member of the commission as a city staff liaison. Is that the right word, Karen? Yeah, okay. So if you don't know Courtney, she is our downtown manager, and she does a lot of events already in our downtown for the city, and is also instrumental in IDA. I don't know exactly what her role is there, but I know that without her, influence, things often don't happen. So we're hoping that Courtney is going to have a positive influence here as well. And I really wasn't running the meeting. I was just killing time, hoping Janice was going to come on. But I wanted to make those introductions before we got started. Leanne, Courtney, anything you'd like to say?
Nope, not that I can think of right now. I know I'm rarely at a loss for words, but
happy to be here. Hello, everyone.
Hello. Thank you for coming and welcome. So we don't really have a vice chair. So Bob, would you be willing to serve in that capacity until Janice shows up? Because I'd hate for this meeting to go late. You can at least get the approval of minutes going and we can talk about it.
Sure, but I'll be winging it. Is there an agenda?
Oh,
I can wing it.
Let me email it to you.
Okay, thank you. Does anyone else have the agenda in front of them that wants to assume the role of vice chair? Sergeant Hedlund, do you have it in front of you? Crickets. Aaron, do you have it in front of you?
I did have it. I might have closed it again.
What's Shannon's cat's name? I had a customer in the store.
Her name is Nocchiola.
Okay.
Italian for hazelnut.
I move to nominate Nocchiola as vice chair tonight.
Hey, you better be serious because she'll take it on.
So
Nathan,
on the agenda, number 2 is roll call.
Right.
I was just going to say, Nathan gave me a great idea. Why don't you all introduce yourselves and explain what you do for Leanne and Courtney? And it could be roll call.
I'll start. I'm Sergeant Hedlund. I work for the police department, and I'm the public safety liaison.
And I'm the parks guy. I make sure everything happens on 4th of July.
And if you can see me, I'm his sister, Stacy, and I help with and find the volunteers and get them signed up for it. This is my last year. I'm moving to Tennessee.
wow.
I also work for the city as employee.
Okay, Lisa, please.
Hey, I'm Lisa. I am the vendor coordinator, and I handle all the vendors that come into the park and get them set up in the park, and hopefully bring in new vendors to the park. But this year it might be a little bit limited with the new job, so gonna do what I can.
Nathan.
I'm Nathan. I operate a community music center here in downtown Independence, and I'm helping out with bands and entertainment. And I think I've found us at least 1, possibly 2 volunteers. Some of you might already know, but we can talk about that a little bit later. Okay.
Great news, Nathan. Natasha.
Hi, I'm Natasha Adams. I do the social media stuff. So, and this is Abigail. She helps too.
Thanks, Natasha. Shannon?
Hi, I'm Shannon Core, City Councilor. I'm the liaison to the Independence Commission from the council.
Karen?
I'm Karen Johnson. I'm the city recorder, and I work as the volunteer as the secretary and records person, and also keep track of all of the volunteer paperwork stuff. So like the liability sheets and the timesheet sign-ins and things like that.
Great. Is that everyone? Did I leave anyone out? Jason Kistler's on the screen. He's our IT guy, Leanne, and he runs all these meetings when they're remote so that we have a way to keep order and control in case anything is out of hand. He can zap people. So, and he records it and puts it on YouTube. So,
Well, that wasn't told to me that I might get zapped, so I don't.
Karen, I just got a text from Janice. She's going in for a CT scan. The break is worse than they thought. So
Oh no.
I don't think we're going to see her tonight.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Okay.
thank you for that update, Shannon. That's really sad news for Janice.
Yeah, she's been on a world of hurt lately, health-wise. So.
Okay, well, item 4.1.
How about 3
Oh,
points?
minutes. I'm sorry. So there are minutes for approval for January 4th, 2022, and also September 9th, 2021. They are linked to the agenda. So did anyone have an opportunity to read and would like to suggest action on the minutes?
Yeah, I read through those attachments and I move to approve.
And a second?
Nathan?
Thank you, Nathan. All in favor, raise a hand. Any opposed, same sign. Okay, minutes are approved, Karen.
Shannon,
Now,
paw?
what was that?
Did Shannon raise a paw?
Oh, she's
I
not
don't
a
vote.
I could see it behind the, she doesn't vote.
I
She's a
Yeah,
liaison
I
from
don't
the
vote.
council.
All right.
So 4.1, Chair, General Finance Report. Leanne, go ahead with your finance report. Okay, not really. So Karen did send out a draft budget today. I don't know if everyone got that, and I really didn't look at it closely yet, but I do have it on my second screen over here.
Yeah. So
Karen, would you like to walk through it, please?
Sure. I did go over this with Janice today, and
Can you share your screen, Karen? So if there's people watching, they can see it.
yeah, let me grab that real fast. I thought I had it loaded. I'm sorry. Apparently not. This laptop is getting slower and slower. There we go. Closed again. Okay. Let's try this one more time. 2022 budget.
I got you, Karen.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, so as I said, Janice and I did go over the proposed budget earlier today. You know, obviously a few things have proposed to come out of revenue without a carnival, obviously no commission, and then no payment from the carnival for security and toilets. So we propose to make that up with additional sponsorship fees. I would like to, I and Chief Mason and a few others discussed, I don't know, Bob, if this is the time to talk about it, about having Courtney helping out and being in charge of getting sponsorships for the West Independence Days. And she's pretty good at raising money, so I have a feeling we should be able to hit that mark. Vendor fees, we had budgeted 2 years ago $18,000, and Jenna says we usually go over that mark to around $21,000, but she hesitated to say that in black and white. So we did push it up a little bit, but not quite as high as we have in the past. So but that is also something that could be changed. I want people to think about that. And then the wristband sales, that's what we used to do when we just had the advanced wristband sales. And so if we want to talk about doing something different, that would certainly be a different amount there. So a total income of $67,000. And then the expenses, pretty much just what they are. I put little descriptions just in case we didn't know exactly what they were for. So that way you can see everything. Audience engagement, cell phone. The cell phone, we might possibly have a different option. And so we'll be looking into that to something a little bit cheaper. And then cleaning up of the park. That's the garbage picker-uppers and the cleaners and all of that. And it's a donation to whoever does all of that. So hopefully we can find a volunteer group who will do volunteer group, but then they earn money for their organization. Decorations, just something to try to make it look a little festive, have some 4th of July swags and painting the grass with the stars like we did some previous years. Here's some money for band, for music. So Nathan, that would be for you. And that would be for all of the entertainment. So if you wanted to have something other than bands, like I know you were talking about something for kids. So that's the total budget right there. Firework equipment, anything for the fireworks that we might need that we don't have on hand or needs to be replaced. $25,000 for fireworks. Fuel for the gators and the generator and anything like that. Gate commissions, that's the donations to the organizations that staff the gates. They get 20% of the gate receipts. And then gate startup funds, it's the same as what was in the revenue, so it's a wash. Park supervisor, that's just anything that the last minute items for the park. Everything from, I don't know, extra garbage cans to electrical extension cords or something like that. Park youth activities, that's the youth activities booth. Our post office box. And then down to public safety, we have security, food booth to feed the security. And then additional funds for CERT, overnight security, and traffic control. And that was what we had done in the past to the Yamhill County Cadet Program. Money for portable toilets for the 3 days. Publicity, money for the sound tech. And then any just unbudgeted expenses that we just might, there's something that comes up at last minute, we'll have a little bit of cushion there. $200 for the vendors. I'm not sure exactly what that line item is for, but I'm sure Lisa could let us know. $180 for website, and then $200 for a wrap-up meeting. And as you see, it comes out even. So be looking that over, be thinking about the parts that cover you, and if you need more money, because we can try to find places to make more revenue, but we need to know a realistic budget for what you need to put on a successful 4th of July celebration.
This is the first time we've put a budget out to look at this year. Are there comments? Would you like to go department by department, or just talk in general, or does anyone have anything to say?
So this budget, we don't expect you to act on it tonight. We want you to take it home, really review it, and then be prepared to talk more about it if needed at the next meeting, and then possibly adopt it. So that way we can get it into the city finance director for inclusion in the city budget.
Karen, is there a line up for the family activities?
Yes. That was the park youth activities, $750
Okay.
crafts.
Okay, because I'm meeting with the YMCA later this month. We're hoping they'll take over the family activities function.
Okay.
Does that mean we want to allocate that money to them to use, or do we want to try to get them to take care of everything?
I don't know exactly how it's worked in the past. I mean, I know we have a bunch of crafts and stuff left over from last year. So,
Yeah.
So it would be more or less, I think, just deciding on what kind of crafts to do would be good to do in the booth and for a short period of time, something that the kids would like to do. And and that's the budget for it.
Does that, the
Okey-doke.
family stuff, does that include the games that we have as well? Because those are pretty, you know, we use those every year, the games that they set up in the park.
What games?
Like last year there was cornhole, and I can't remember, there were like these giant boards with things that you threw, and
Yeah, it would include all that, Natasha. So
Okay.
I think what I was planning on telling them was we have stuff left over from last year, and that could be a starter thing for them. Because I think really we're only looking at them to staff it. We would provide the materials is the way I would think we'd want to go about it. But I'm open to hearing what they have to say and how they want to run it. So.
And then the youth activities booth, when would that be open? Is that open all 3 days, just one day, just 2
Yeah.
days?
It was open up all days.
Okay.
But it wasn't staffed fully every day. That's the real problem. Or people would get stuck there the entire day.
2 to 6 or something. That usually when it's open.
Yeah.
Okay. Shannon, another organization that's willing to help out is TAG. In the family.
Okay. Yep. Yeah. Jean helped out last year. I'll talk to her some more about that.
Because they are a 501c3, they would be able to get a separate booth for them. So that way they could have their own outreach while they're doing it.
Yep.
So last meeting, there were some ideas tossed around about increasing the entrance fee. And I was gonna throw some, this is for some reason, this is a read-only mode. Maybe it's because I'm put it out there, but just quick math would tell me if we did raise some of the admissions to $5 for wristbands, which was a talk that we had going on, that would greatly increase this gate, because 5 times 10 is 50, so it would be $50,000 if we sold 10,000 wristbands at $5 each. So I think that pretty easily we could create either more income or lessen the reliance on sponsorships this first year, because it may be hard to get sponsors this late. It's already 2022. But Courtney's pretty amazing, so she could make that whole amount. But I do think that that's a way that we could increase income without pretty effortlessly, just by increasing the fee. And for those of you that weren't here last meeting, the conversation was around, and I don't know how to do this or if everyone agrees it's the right idea, but having a higher fee for wristband sales for out-of-town people. Trying to think of it like a tourism tax, I guess. But or I guess I would say raise the fee for everyone, but then have a local place where you could buy them cheaper if you're from town, that sort of thing. I don't know the logistics there. We would have to leave that up to someone else, but food for thought. Comments on that?
Yeah, a little bit on that, and then another quick question. I think we talked about it last meeting that as far as public safety goes, it's always going to be better if we can control the number of people. It makes it a lot easier for us to plan as far as security and what we're going to be able to do, what we're going to not be able to do safely. But along those same lines is just a question regarding the $5,000 that's in there. Do you guys know if that was the actual amount spent for last year, or was that like just a carryover budget number? But do we know how much we spent previously?
I'm sorry, I don't have that number, but I will get that number for you.
Yeah, that's fine. I think because that would make a difference, I think for me, as far as being able to comment on whether or not that would work, or I believe that would work moving forward, because last year's event was limited on numbers, and so we were able to kind of squeak by with the security that we were able to hire. But as far as getting volunteers like we have in the past 5 years or so, those numbers are greatly declined, and so our reliance on paid security is going to have to continue to increase probably, and especially if our numbers in the park with attendees increase greatly from what it was last year.
I can't speak to an absolute, but I can tell you that we did pay Starplex Corporation, which is, I believe, who we used as security last year, $7,432.50. And I'm guessing that's for everything. That was on July 8th of 21 that we paid that.
And then
$7,400.
$7,432.50.
And then did we even utilize the Yamhill Cadet program last year for traffic control? I believe we used the paid security people.
That's correct.
And our patrol staff.
That's correct.
Yeah. So this was, I was working off of a couple of years prior budget. So, yeah, so some of these, if you want to eliminate some of those and put the numbers up into another line item, that's great. These were just ones that I had, and it's not written in stone. So however you think the best way to break it out would be.
Yeah, we didn't have a reconciled budget. That's what I asked for. All I got was like a check register. I'll send it to you, Sergeant Headland, so you'll have it.
Okay, thanks. Because once we kind of make a decision as far as our plans moving forward, or what we think we want to do as far as attendance and wristband sales, or like open gate take, or what our plans for that is, it's probably going to be, it won't be until we have that decision made that I think that we would be able to kind of start brainstorming what our actual security needs are going to be.
And so that brings up another question. So I think a lot of us really liked the wristband sales in advance, and basically just you didn't get in unless you had a wristband, and so we sold those in advance. Some of them were able to buy them day of. That was mostly on the hometown day, not on the 4th of July. But is that a place we want to go, even with increased numbers?
I think it's a good idea.
I think it cuts down on how many people you need at the gates too, because not having to make change and exchange money, all you have to do is verify a wristband. It really cuts down on how that flow works with a lot less people.
Mm-hmm.
It'd be nice to think about, we had different colors for each day, but if you bought all three, if you knew you were going to attend all 3 days because you're local, it'd be nice if there was one that was a color for that. So they just have to buy, do you know what I'm saying? Like it costs the same, but instead of putting the wrong wristband on the wrong day, or
Except that they're those tape ones, and once you pull them off, you can't put them back on.
maybe we could do like, if it's a 3-day one, it's one of those silicone, or I don't know. But they're also, if I recall, it was nice to sell them ahead of time, but then the day of, I feel like a really good job was done in allowing people in the park and then saying there's no more until the fireworks started and the rush of people came over the fence. And at that point it was,
Woodstock.
we had tried all day, and then from a safety standpoint, I'm not really sure if if we got the results that we wanted.
I did have a meeting with Sean Irvine, our economic development director, and Ramon and Courtney today to talk about wristband sales and whether or not, especially Courtney with all of her experience during COVID and business support and helping people set things up, whether she could create a system like that. And if we have an interest, they wanted us to give them an opportunity to kind of research the best way to do wristband sales if we're going to do them like that, like online, and try to get them to people ahead of time and then come back with a proposal. So am I hearing that there is an interest in that? Because they would like to have a little opportunity to do some research and then come back to this group and say, here's our proposal.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Being able to set on for quite a long time, but we just were told we weren't able to.
Yeah.
If there are online sales and we have to get them to people, then that's going to increase a line item budget for shipping.
Yeah, and and Janice had some concern about that, and I tend to agree, because if you get them in advance, then everybody's going to know what they look like. Somebody could then put an order into Amazon and buy a whole bunch of the wristbands and then just give them out to their friends for free, and we'd have all these extra people showing up that we don't know about. So the other option would be to go ahead and have the online sales, but then have like you do at a theater, have a will call booth or something where people can come get their wristbands that they paid for in advance. We just would have a will call booth.
Yeah, I did bring that up to the group and they thought that there may be a more secure way to get wristbands that weren't so easily, I guess, duplicated, right? So we'll leave that to their proposal if that's okay.
Sure, yeah. But just to ask that they consider, all of those aspects.
Yeah, all those came up at our meeting today. Leanne, did you have another comment?
I was just thinking about if there was a virtual, like on a cell phone or something like that, like we get our tickets for the theater in Portland on our cell phones. We have to show that. And that would save if people bought them online, that would save any postage or shipping charges if it just went straight to their email.
It's a good thought. I'll at least mention.
Mm-mm.
Okay, I think we need to move on from budget unless anyone else has something they really want the whole group to consider between now and next budget talk.
I just had a quick one for Karen, sort of along the lines of the security budget quibble, the sound tech. Since we're going to 3 days, we just want to make sure we get a fresh quote from Shane.
Okay.
I don't know if anybody's spoken with Shane yet, but if we're plugging in that number to work around, we need to talk to Shane about the 3rd day.
Okay. Okay. So Aaron, would that be you? Okay, thank you.
Yeah, or I can call Shane as well. I didn't hear that. Aaron, did you want me to call Shane or?
At best if we both call him. That way
Okay.
We got it.
Okay, man. Sounds good.
And then the only other thing is, I guess it would be budget wise. I was going to bring it up during the first part of this, but the cost has gone up dramatically.
For what?
The fireworks. Believe it was a 20% increase in the fireworks themselves, and the company is doing things a little different. We need to get a budget figured out and let them know that we want fireworks yesterday, more or less.
Okay, so if it's gone up 20%, so that means, God, what, another $5,000?
Mhm.
Wow.
Yeah, they said it's absolutely crazy, but yeah, 9%. I have an email that states that too.
Okay.
I'm also a little concerned about the budget for vendors. If we're going off a couple of years ago, that's what we were doing in a full event. And that's about 85 vendors that we'd bring in or so. I think, we've been talking about upping the vendor fees because we haven't in many years. And I am really concerned about bringing in 85 vendors again, just from people going out of business. We've been down a couple years. I think we were at 35 or so, 35 last year. So I'm really wanting us to take a look at that as well. And
so you're saying that you don't
consider
think
that we might not hit that.
So you think that 85 is
That was in a normal year.
Okay, so.
Well, that budget that we have there, that was in a normal year. So I don't know. I don't know what we can do this year. It might just open up. It might not. But I'm a little concerned about, and then I need to ask, are we upping our vendor fees?
What are our fees?
Aaron, do you remember 150 for craft and 250 for food truck?
Yes. And then they can charge.
For 10 by 10?
Yeah, 10 by 10. And then additional space they were buying was, I don't remember how much per foot.
$30 for additional 10 feet or something like that.
Yeah.
Is that daily or for the whole event?
That's for the whole event.
Wow, that's cheap.
Those are really, yeah.
Wow.
I'm gonna consider looking at that. Maybe check with some of the other big shows that are around, events that are around in the valley, see what they charge for vendor fees. And I'm not saying we match them, but at least up ours to where we're still a deal, but maybe not quite so cheap if they're 2 times or 3 times what we charge.
So if you were estimating, you said something about 35 vendors. Is that what you said? Is that what I heard, Lisa?
Last year, I think that's about what we had. Yeah.
So if you're looking to get $20,000 out of that, that's like almost $575 a piece you would need to reach that.
Remember, that's for a taste. 20 feet long and trip space. There's a 10 small for a food vendor.
Was Aaron cutting in and out on all of you?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
it wasn't just me. Aaron, you're cutting in and out.
I know, I have problems for this for some reason. Everybody else is cutting in and out too. Screen is game.
So I'm hearing we may need to adjust our income piece of the budget as well. So those of you that have an area, give that some thought. And then when we come back to our next meeting, give us a best guess, right? And let's talk about what you think fair fees are and what you think a reasonable budget is at that time. Does that work?
Yeah, sounds good.
Okay. Next up, I think, Aaron, it's Pyrotechnic, which you kind of went into, but do you have other things on that?
Am I cutting in and out? No, am I muted? Nope.
You're cutting in and out.
I am. Yeah, go tell Skylar to get off.
Put your finger in the air when you're talking so we'll know what you're
Yeah. So as far as pyrotechnics, I kind of read through the email that I sent out. Says first consider pricing for fireworks and shipping has gone considerably. As a result, we anticipate duplicating show from last year will require a 20% budget increase for 2022.
How much?
20%.
Oh, that's right. That's, you already know.
Yeah. And then other general considerations is the timeline and cancellations. They're not really they're not given a good leeway on that anymore. We used to be able to cancel a show and then move it, have it for up to a year. Now it's 90 days. So that you can postpone a show for a period of 90 days with no, a period of 90 days, but the deposit will be forfeited in the event the show simply canceled. So I guess you could postpone for 90 days with no fee, but if you end up just canceling the entire thing, you will forfeit your deposit. Of course, there's, they're going to give some leeway on case by case kind of thing. But basically they're saying we need the date of the play, the total budget, the location, and all of this needs to be done sooner than later. Yep, that's the lost everybody
Well,
now.
What would you say a date is that it needs to be ordered by? Like, do we have to give ourselves a deadline? February?
I would probably
15th?
say March. March would be,
okay.
yeah, March 1st, March, sometime in there.
So we'll have time to look over the budget and maybe pass it at our February meeting and have a better idea of where we're at.
Trying to get through here and make sure that they don't give a, said date that they've done by. Yeah,
Okay.
so it says, please know as soon as you have a working plan and budget 22 event. So.
Anything else, Aaron?
Nope.
Who is decorations and branding?
Oh, we don't have any, so we can skip that for now.
Public safety, Sergeant Hedlund.
Just kind of TBD until we figure out what our plan is for wristband sales and attendance.
All right. I do not see Kimber or Neil Olson. So CERT and PCFD, we will move by unless somebody has something they sent. Anybody get anything from them? Nope. Okay. Vendors and sponsors. Lisa.
Well, I kind of covered my thoughts on that. I'm a little concerned about bringing in the numbers that we usually have. So I need to start reaching out to our regular vendors, but before I do that, I need to have it figured out what we're going to charge. So I can do some research on that and present it at the next meeting, and then we can make a decision on what we're going to put on the application.
And Lisa, last year
And
we
then
had
I'm just going to start with. Go ahead.
Last year we talked about creating an online form to put on the website where people can fill it out and pay and hit submit, and it would all be a little more streamlined. Is that something that we want to actually do this year?
I think that would be great. And Courtney, if you're able to reach out to some as well, I'm a little bit out of touch with it now that I'm not downtown in the shop. So I'm hoping for a collaborative effort on this one.
Great, Courtney. Would you mind adding that?
I'm a social media.
Yeah,
I think it's all about social media.
Yes, I did privately message you about helping you create a call for vendors flyer that maybe we can utilize, like Natasha was saying, on the website, but also through our social media channels. And I can just help.
Yeah, I'm definitely hoping for help. Okay.
Yeah, I think we kind of see Natasha's position as doing website and social media. So she's very familiar with both. So let everything, Courtney, you've got the flyer created and everything, and just funnel it to Natasha and let her run with it.
And I don't have access to the website. I don't have any of that information, so I'll need that to be able. I don't know who.
Do we know who has that information?
Miss
I
Janice.
believe Kimber did.
Kimber has it.
Kimber and Janice, yeah.
Okay.
Okay, I'll message Kimber and ask her to get me that.
Mhm.
And then I missed it, I think it was being weird, but did you say something about making it to where vendors can pay online?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, okay. That's definitely something we need to.
Yeah,
And we are
that's what I
splitting.
got.
Thank you, Lisa. We're splitting vendors and sponsors. So Courtney, would you like to talk about sponsors and then see if anyone in the group has any ideas of sponsors that we generally get that we need to reach out to and things like that?
Yes. Well, I was just notified that I would be handling sponsors 4 hours ago. So I will have a little bit more time to draft my list, but I am happy to do it. We, in our economic development strategy meeting, we actually already talked about doing editing all of the current sponsorship package that I already manage and doing kind of a targeted social media blast at first, letting all the businesses locally know what different events they can sponsor throughout the year. So we would put all of them, and I would include Independence Days in that. So yeah, I'll just be including Independence Days in all of my sponsorship outreach. And as I mentioned to Chief earlier, many of the events that we have are more regional. And so we're going to be going after more regional sponsors rather than just local businesses. So I do have a list already started that I normally reach out to for summer series. And so I'll just be probably going even more outside the lines of what I normally try to stick within in terms of boundaries. So yeah, if there's any businesses as of right now that you guys have, that you guys are familiar with that, you know, maybe sponsor annually or have sponsored in the past, I'm happy to get their name, or if you know a specific person within the company that is well connected with the community or Independence Days that would be interested in sponsoring, feel free to either message me here in the chat or email. Yes, Nathan, was that something? Oh, no, okay, yeah, so just feel free to message me if you, yes.
Courtney, is Pacific Source, our community care organization, part of your usual list?
Nope, I have not reached out to them before.
I know they've reached out and said they want to do things in the community. So I'll try to get you a point of contact.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
A great idea. That could be that big sponsor we were looking for, Courtney. Honestly, they really need their name out in our community.
Great.
They do. Mm-hmm.
Okay, 4.5 entertainment. Nathan. Thank you, Courtney.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm good. That's great. To see a bigger budget for music, that gives me a lot more to work with. I'm still, in my mind, gonna try to do the bigger hitting bands, obviously on the fireworks nights, and then kind of reorient around Sunday being more of a local focus. So we'll probably spread the bulk of the budget between those two big days and have Sunday be more of the small town feel, regional bands and stuff.
Great.
That's where I'm at.
Questions for Nathan? All right, moving on. What is next? Volunteers. Gates, parking, garbage detail. I think
Chief,
that's the.
This isn't on the list, but you know, Councilor Roden asked about the Paralyzed Veterans of America co-hosting the parade with the Rotary. I sent Karen, I copied you on an email today that I sent to Councilor Roden. There's a couple of veterans things that normally happen during Independence Days that I think Kimber normally takes on, and she's got an awful lot on her plate with CERT. So Janice and I thought maybe the Paralyzed Veterans of America would be a better sponsor of that kind of stuff, like the lowering of the flag and maybe the Veterans of Honor signs on floats and stuff. So Councilor Roden just emailed me back and said she thinks that would be a great thing for them to take on. They may still want to co-host the parade. I don't know, but I kind of left it up to her that that's a Rotary decision to make, and they can talk to the Rotary about that. But I think it'd be great to kind of push some of those veterans tasks off onto a veterans organization.
I think that's a great idea.
They really want to have a hand in Independence Day. So I think that would be a great thing for them to do.
And that's fine. The only question I have is, did AMVETS ever have a hand in any of this?
I don't know. I always wondered why American Legions wasn't doing it, but maybe they did at one point in time and then it just fell off, their plate. I don't know what the history of that is.
Aaron or Justin, do you know if AMVets ever did any of those things?
I believe so.
Has it been Team Rubicon that's been doing some involvement? It feels like people in the
Yeah, I
park are really
think
involved.
it is. I think you're right, Chief. I think it was Team Rubicon who did it, and that's how Kimber got tied into it.
Right.
But I think, especially with the lowering of the flag business, I think that's always like a last minute thing. Kimber always gets it done, but she's got other things she needs to concentrate on. So maybe if we could, this would be a way for paralyzed vets to get involved and stay involved over time with the event.
Yeah, I think it's a really good idea.
Okay.
It is.
I have a quick question, kind of going back to entertainment, and I haven't been in the meetings lately, so I apologize. But can we quickly go over what days we're gonna be having the festival? Because the Sunday is the day before 4th of July.
Yeah, it's going to be Saturday, Sunday, Monday with fireworks on Saturday and Monday.
Thank you.
And the Duck Derby. Well, let's wait and get down through the rest of the subcommittees, and we can talk about the general stuff, I think. Sorry.
You sent me the agenda, Karen. I'm trying. Okay, so Stacy, are you still in space there or are you gone? Oh, you're there. Go ahead.
So I have the basketball team, central basketball team coming back. I have a few texts about the including your parents.
I can't hear
your back.
Stacy, you're breaking up really bad. We can't.
I have no idea what's going on.
Just try getting closer.
And my brother.
Yeah, you can sit on.
The central basketball coming back this year. They weren't with us last year, but they said that they were coming this year.
What will they be doing?
Yesterday.
And so they'll do the gates or parking or what?
Gates.
Okay.
So only gates. I don't have any. Do you guys want me to try to find people? I can, but I've normally done the gates.
Okay. I just didn't know. I was just asking.
Gotcha. And then I have a few text messages out to some central that have incoming seniors for next year, hoping that they'll find someone to help cohort with me on. And for some reason, by February 1st or so, school doesn't take it on. For their senior all night party, I do have a mom at West Salem High that's a senior that's more than willing to do it. I just want to try to keep it with Central first and give them that try or that chance before I branch off to another county. So I'm going to keep on trying to reach out to them. Central's office doesn't really help too much because it's not program for the funder, but I'm going to reach out. She's still there. I'm not quite sure, and see if she can find a mom that might be interested. Said something to her about it or anything like that. So I have one group, and hopefully I have another so they can coincide with each other to get both of these covered.
Thank you.
Great. So as far as parking and garbage goes, I made a call on maybe a garbage person. I called the gate to ask if they would have a group that would be interested. Just because a lot of the people that used to be in Central Baptist that did it for like 20 years are now part of the gate. I don't know. I was trying. We'll see. I'm waiting for Joy Hoffman to get back to me. She hasn't yet. And as far as parking goes, I haven't reached out to anyone yet, but have a couple of ideas. So I will continue down that path unless anyone else has any. It's you really want to get them early. So and they have to be responsible.
The Heritage and Museum Society said they might be interested in helping out with parking. I don't know, Natasha, you know better than I do who's in the Museum Society these days. I don't know if that's something they can actually handle, but they said they were interested because they're always trying to fundraise.
Well, we have a lot of new members in the society, so I think we were talking about possibly partnering with another organization because we don't have enough people in the society to be able to do something like that. So So yes, we're interested, but we have our own logistics to figure out as to whether or not that's something we can do. But they have a strategic planning meeting on Sunday, so hopefully we'll know more after that.
Okay. Events, local entertainment. Nathan kind of hit on that. He's going to bring some in on Sunday, I think. It's the way it's on the agenda, Nathan. I didn't write the agenda. And then church talent show, 4.7.2. What did that mean, Karen?
Yeah, that means that we usually have a community church service. It used to be a service put on by all of the churches in the community. And several years ago, it moved to Monmouth. And the Grove, is that right? Am I thinking the right church? Took it over so that way it wouldn't be forgotten. And so they put on a community church service kind of thing on Sunday morning. So if we still want to do that, someone would need to contact the Grove and see if they're able to. And then do we want to try to have a talent show? We used to have one for a few years. Vidal Pena helped put it on. Don't know if that's something that we're still interested in. So,
Are we feeling like that fits in Nathan's area of responsibility or not? I don't know. I'm asking.
I'm open to helping out with somebody who's done it before.
I guess I'm just thinking stage time is your time, right? So on Sunday, would you want to do a talent show or have somebody come in and do a talent show?
I'm interested in entertaining variety besides music. So yeah, that would be great. One way we could organize it, because I was going to try to fill the space since we won't be backlining this year. We're going to go a little more traditionally and have bands will be bringing in all their own instruments and amplifiers and equipment and everything. At least I think. Last time I talked to Shane, that was the operating strategy. So he'll need more time between bands to set up. So maybe in between we could have non-music related talent show stuff. But if it's going to be like The Voice or singing competition style, I've done stuff like that before. I could pull that off. Then we're looking for judges and stuff like that. I don't want to judge. I don't like judging.
Yeah, we had I think judging can be a little difficult, especially when it's supposed to be just a family fun atmosphere. So
I know Vidal had an interest in that. He included it in an email that I saw. So do you want to get with Vidal, Nathan, and see if you two can work something out to propose to the next meeting?
Did you want me to contact the Grove? Do we still want to try to have a community church?
Depends on what time the park's going to open and if we want to deal with taking down barriers and putting them back up. And I don't know. That's,
maybe something to discuss at the next meeting. Everybody think about it, especially Aaron, because he's the one who would be in charge of, especially knowing what the days are like, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and then therefore what kind of fencing we have to have up and when. And so he would know the best about what would need to be moved and not moved and all of that.
We were going to move to electric fencing this year, right?
with wire over the top.
Just turn it on when the fireworks start.
I'm not against church, but when it moved to Monmouth, I feel like we're competing with the church that we sponsored for, 15 years in Independence. And now that same group is in Monmouth. So I don't know. Food for thought.
It turned out pretty good for the growth. It's been a pretty good event. So I'm willing to work. Is a March day, so there won't be any gates or fencing of any sort usually on that day. But who's to say that we don't try to charge on too?
Oh no, I wasn't thinking charge, but that means you have to get the gates down for the church service. Well, you're gonna have to get them down anyway, at least somewhat. So
yeah.
Okay, well, TBD, I guess. family activities. We don't really have anyone. We heard YMCA will be joining us later with an idea. Publicity, social media.
Hey, that's me. I have messaged Kimber to get information to get onto the website, and so I'll work on that. And I didn't know there was actually a budget for publicity, so that's kind of exciting. And then I would imagine I'll be working with Courtney for us to kind of collaborate on, if you already have posters and stuff made. I want to try and reuse things from last year so that, for instance, like things like the Duck Derby, things start to feel familiar for people if, the signage is branded and recognizable. I also think it's worth thinking about, especially if we are going to raise wristband sales. I think the community is really unaware of how much fireworks cost, and that it might be interesting to make something for the entries that just kind of breaks it down. And that's probably the museum science-y, let's make some informational panels, but just to for people to understand what goes into the fireworks and goes into the event. And the fact that we've been charging $2 for the last bazillion years is, so those
Oh
are.
no, we only charged $1 for a long time. I remember.
I know. I remember when I was a kid, it was like, oh, and I get it too. If you have a big family and you up them to $5 a pop, I hear that and I understand it, but we still have to be able to cover our costs. So I think there might be a fun way to figure out how to do that and kind of make an educational piece out of it.
Yeah.
I couldn't agree more, Natasha. I think a lot of people have no idea what goes into pulling off this event, period. And they really should get some appreciation for that, because I think ultimately that'll help with volunteerism. Maybe not this year, but maybe, in the years coming.
Yeah, I would love to have like almost yard signs of, did you know, I don't know, and kind of put some costs and hours and that kind of stuff up so people become aware.
And although it doesn't cost, I don't know how accurate I could be, but I could try to go back and look through a lot of the records and see how many hours it takes volunteer hours it takes to put this on before and during and even just a little bit after. I mean, it takes a lot. I don't think people realize that there are some people like Aaron who spend, 16 hours a day or more for those 3 days down at the park,
Yeah.
So.
Last year was a light year and porta potties were $4,112. So I think that would be a really good sign.
Yep, totally. I see a lot of poo emojis in the future.
Leanne.
Really cheap last year.
Just thinking, you're thinking of bumping from 2 to 5. Knowing this community, that's a pretty big hardship for a lot of people. So what about somehow, and I'm not a sponsor person, so I don't know, but what about somehow within our sponsorship, we could have some of our sponsors be willing to, part of their sponsorship be donating funds for wrist bracelets for a certain segment of the population that may not be able to afford that bump. Just a thought. And that would give them, that would also give them then good vibes in the community, because they're putting out there for others.
Yeah.
Just a thought.
And also think about maybe having a family package. So like, the wristbands, if you got a family package, and so like if you had more than 4, then we could, so like maybe charge it $20 or $25 for a family package, and that would get everybody in your family in.
Yeah, I agree.
More complexities for your wristbands, Courtney. And Sean's observing now too. He sent me a message. Add all that in your
And maybe some social media contests too. If Natasha puts out some kind of notice about something and says, hey, the first 5 people who comment on this get a free wristband or something. I mean, it's another piece to manage, unfortunately, but maybe it can cover some of those folks who don't have the means or have a large family.
Yeah, we could give Natasha at the museum a certain number of wristbands, and she could just run these little promos to also promote the museum and get kids to come down and just get them right from her. effortless
That's great.
for everyone but Natasha.
I'll turn my office window into a drive-through window and just chuck them out as they walk by.
Okay, we're to other items. So other discussion, information items. And then the last two are parade and mini marathon. So I guess we'll call this roundtable so we can wrap it up. And we'll start with Leanne. She's upper left corner for me.
And what are you expecting from Leanne?
Just anything that we haven't talked about that you needed to. Nothing?
No, nothing. The wrist bracelet was the last thing I was thinking of. I don't know what's going on with the parade. So is that something that is not independent?
We don't oversee the parade. The Rotary Club does that. So they handle everything. They put out the publicity, they sign everybody up, they do all of that. They do the judging.
I just remember what a fiasco it was reading online about that parade last year.
They do the permits with the state and the two cities.
Okay.
They cover it with their insurance. Yeah.
Okay,
Yep,
Karen,
yep.
you're next.
Nothing other than just, thank you everybody, and just anytime you have an idea or need information, please do not hesitate to call or email.
Courtney.
I would just say, I know that when the city did their rebranding, there was a logo created for all of the different events. And so there is a city logo that is for Independence Days.
That's correct.
And I also know that I have worked with Janice and the commission in years past to put together a couple different variations of logos that I don't know have ever actually been like really pushed throughout, the website and social media and whatnot. So maybe that's something that Natasha and I can work together to maybe put together some type of design suite with a couple different options of logos that we could maybe present at next meeting. So that way, when we go to design the call for vendors and all the other things that we're going to be creating over the next few months, we all have, same design, similar, same colors, same logos. So it works with what Natasha's saying in terms of the brand recognition of the event.
I'd love to, if we can figure out how to have, whether it's a Google Drive or something where all of this stuff gets put, sort of the hit by a bus binder, because we are recreating things as people leave and new people come in. And if we could save a lot of this stuff in one place, I think that would really help us from year to year.
So we do have the OneDrive, but that's really only accessible, I think, for internal in the city. We do have that. I don't know if Independence Days, if they have a Gmail account. Obviously, we could do a drive there.
Jason can take care of that. He just texted me. And, all city staff will have access to SharePoint. So we could do a Western Day SharePoint. And like more people on the call than not are city staff.
It's Independence
Someone
Days.
could get it. Sorry, Independence Days. Aaron. I should always just give Aaron a whole person notice.
Yeah, sorry. I'm good. I don't have anything really.
Natasha, and then it will be Lisa.
I'm good.
Lisa, and then it will be Nathan.
I'm good.
Nathan, and then Justin.
As I mentioned at the top, Karen, who is an AmeriCorps person at Andy Commons, is interested in volunteering with the commission. So I believe their skill set is more social media education. So I was thinking maybe for the family activities, help planning and executing that. Maybe helping out Natasha as well, if you feel like you need a hand, an extra person. And if we can get her at a meeting, even just a Zoom meeting, maybe she can chime in with some of her other skills. And it sounded like she was just happy to help. So
I definitely need help day of with videos and taking pictures and stuff. So
cool.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah, so
Cool.
if she could work hand in hand with Natasha, so that way, because I'm one of those, Natasha referenced the getting hit by a bus binder. I think it's really important for all of us to start having people that shadow us and just in case something happens and or if you just decide that, hey, I'm just done, you know,
Yeah.
and we can have somebody
Wait.
take over.
We're allowed to be done with this? I didn't think that was an option.
Well, you
Karen,
know,
It's
we
like
talked
once
about
you
this,
sign on.
Karen.
yeah, no.
Justin and then Shannon.
I don't have anything.
Shannon.
All I have is Courtney, I just got the Pacific Source contact, but it's a phone number for the director. So I'm going to call her tomorrow and see if she's going to delegate to somebody. So I'll get whoever that person is for you tomorrow.
Okay, last thing I have. Karen had asked about the Duck Derby, when it is, and some details. Aaron, can you answer that?
Duck Derby, Hometown Pride Day, as far as I, yeah,
Okay, so that would be Saturday.
yes. And it's usually 4 o'clock start time.
And then I talked to somebody today who said that they've been contacted by Paul Finster. And so that, oh, it was Janice. And so the car show is excited to be here on Sunday, which is a
Yes.
perfect day. So
After 12, at some point,
Okay.
1 to
oh, I have it written down somewhere. I'm sorry, I don't.
1 to 5.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Um,
We don't need to know now, Karen. It's all right.
and without being the worry person, are we going to talk at all about some sort of traffic control help while the Duck Derby dump is happening?
We could talk about it. Yeah.
Uh-huh. Okay.
We may just not let Aaron do it. We may, you know.
We might just need a police escort this year.
Yeah, or I don't know, something like at both ends of the bridges that says we're there, or
Yeah.
considering 2 fender benders. It was,
Okay. Well, hey, it was just slightly over an hour because we started late.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I just wanted to make sure that I have formal consensus that the commission would like to recommend approval of making 2 new positions on the commission, one of volunteer manager and one splitting sponsors and vendors. So there would be a sponsor and a vendor. And then my former one that said volunteers and secretary, I would just be secretary / record keeper. So we would have 2 more positions, but we also have them filled. So, and then having Courtney as our staff liaison. So, is that
Do
not?
we need a motion and a vote? Is that what I'm hearing you say? Or was
Oh,
that
I don't
good?
need a vote. I just
Okay.
want to at least make sure we have a consensus. Thank you.
Perfect. So 8:13, I think it was an hour and 4 minutes. Thank you all very much. When's the next meeting, Karen? I didn't say that.
The next meeting is February 10th.
The 10th of February. All right. Thank you everyone for taking the time tonight. Very much appreciate you.
Thank you.